Hey Chris,
Hey Dan,
how you doing?
man, I'm wonderful. How are you?
That's great. Wow, wonderful. That's phenomenal. I'm good. I'm good. Bring it back down to earth a little bit. Um, so it's just me and you here today.
Yeah,
But the show must go on.
yeah.
And we have Didi usually gives us our cold open, and he was so kind enough to at least provide us that today. Because he is on vacation, taking a well-deserved vacation from a weekend at Coachella. Must have been exhausting to take
I
he needs a
know.
vacation after that.
Yeah,
Good for
right?
him. Good for him. But the question to start the show today is, what kind of vacation person are you? Are you adventurous? Are you lazy? Are you a completely different person that has an alter ego? Do you prefer to be busy, scheduled? Are you the planner? What type of person are you? And you were on vacation not that long ago. So what type of person are you when you go on vacation?
I've put a lot of thought into this, so I'm ready to answer this question.
Okay, okay.
Dan, I like to have a plan, but I want to be very clear about what I mean when I say I like to have a plan because when you say like, are you the planner? That to me feels like the person that like sends out an agenda, right? Day by day, action
Yeah.
items of all the things we're going to do. That is by no means me. I just like to know day by day, like, okay, if it's Friday night, day is winding down, we're getting ready to go to bed. What's the one thing that we are going to try and do tomorrow? Like, I just like to
Mm,
know what that
okay.
next thing is, what the focal point of the next day is going to be. I don't need to know all that stuff before I leave for the trip. Like, I don't need the whole trip mapped out before I leave. I just need to go to bed with an understanding of what I'm going to be getting into the next day. Okay. And that could
Mhm.
be lounging around. Like the thing could be nothing at all. And I'm cool with
Mhm.
that. I just I just like to know what the next day is going to bring. I will tell you my biggest travel vacation pet peeve is going to bed thinking I know what that one thing is going to be and then waking up and then people change all the shit that I thought was real. I cannot stand that, okay? But that's the type of vacation person I am. I don't need to do a lot of stuff. I like to do some things, like,
Mhm.
but in general, I just need to know what that one focal point is going to be of the day for the next day. What about you?
That's a fair one there. Yeah, this is a pretty fascinating topic, and for me, it's interesting that DDO even worded this like, are you have like almost an alter ego when you go somewhere, and for me, it's almost like I had this alter ego depending on the trip, depending on what like who I'm going with, where I'm going.
Mm,
Because like a trip out to LA to go see Didi, I'm just putting it in his hands. He's the guy making the plans. I have an idea. Maybe there's one thing a day that I know we're going to do, like kind of like you have there.
yeah.
I gotta know something. But he's somebody that I'm like, okay, I can trust that the plans are being set. Also, that's also the role that you and I play whenever we are friends. Apparently, we go to plan these deep creek trips. We make the trip like we're
Yeah.
we're the quarterbacks, right? We've got to be the ones making the plans. So like I've been on both sides of that fence, but if it's just me and Shannon, I feel like I'm kind of the quarterback and I have to at least have something planned for each day. It's not a full like agenda, like 8 a.m. we wake up, we do this. It's not to that extent.
Yeah.
But I do need to have some semblance of what's going on or what we're going to do, even if it is like a lazier beach vacation. And sometimes that's the exact vacation that I need is like, let's just go, we'll relax. We're going to at least go to this place for dinner, or we're going to at least do this one thing during one day, and we'll just figure the rest out. So it is. It's a different mentality. But if like we're gonna go to Europe, I'll be like, all right, here's all these things we got to try to get done. So it is. It's weird. I almost have the alter ego within that, depending on where we're going, maybe who we're going with. But yeah, for me, I do need to at least know. I need to know something. I need to know like the house we're staying in, the condo we're staying in, where it is, what it looks like. I need to have some semblance of a plan, but it doesn't need to be like completely detailed out to a printed agenda.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Like the nature of the trip or the people that you go with.
Yeah.
Now that you're talking through that, I'm thinking through it more and um, okay, so we're planning a Disney vacation for a couple years from now, and we're doing it with Katie's entire family. So like, I'm not involved in this planning process at all.
Sure.
And nor do I want to be. Like, there's smarter people who can handle it, and so that's going to be the type of trip where it's just like, hey, before we go to bed, tell me what the one thing we're doing tomorrow is.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Like you and I have booked friend trips where we've been in charge of every detail, and I have had to know every detail because otherwise it would have gotten royally messed up or just not happened at all.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Right.
And then like I'm thinking about like, and then okay, if I'm going on like a long weekend vacation to see like a college football game somewhere, I'm probably the person it's going to flip. Normally Katie is the planner, you know, she's the detailed one. But if it's that type of trip, then it flips and it's me. And I'm the one saying like, okay, well, we got to go check this thing out. We got to hit this. And like, there's a, you know, like the pregame things here and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess it depends on the nature of the trip and the people that you're going with. But in general, I don't want to be in charge. Like I just don't want that responsibility. I want to be relaxed. And that's I think why I really only want to do one thing a day is because generally I want to be relaxed.
What do you think Dee Dee is as because again, it's usually, especially recently over the past 7-8 years, you know, it's going to see him or he's coming back home. So it's
Yeah.
not quite the same as everybody going to a remote location like bachelor party or to Vegas or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
so this weekend he's out, or this week he's out in Arizona, him and his wife. Like, what do you think he is in that relationship, in that dynamic in terms of vacation planner, not planner, busy?
I don't know, man. Like, I very much believe Siobhan is the brains of the operation over there. Just,
no doubt about that.
just first and foremost. I do have to give him credit though, because like I'm interested in hearing about how the Coachella trips come together for you guys. Cause I mean, when it was my bachelor party, he set the whole thing up, right? And there was
Yeah.
like almost 20 people that went on that bachelor party. And so he had, you know, his P's and Q's all lined up and in order. That also though was the type of trip where like, you know, it kind of fit the description of like, we're going to do one thing the next day and like, you could show up and do it, or you don't have to like do whatever you want. So I feel like his, like at his core, he probably wants to be the more relaxed person, but you know, I go places with Dee Dee, like, and he finds deals online or like links to like the party buses in Vegas. And like, he's had random Groupons that he's found when we've gone places. So he's like he's a good planner from my experience with him. But yeah, if it's him and Siobhan, like, I don't know. I would hope that she's in charge. I feel like she's just the brains.
I feel like she has to be. There's no doubt she is the brains of the operation. But I will say this for like Coachella trips, he's in charge.
Okay.
He's booking the place, he's finding it. And even some other trips, you mentioned bachelor parties and things like that. The thing about Dee Dee is he's a planner to an extent, but he keeps his playbook close to the vest. He doesn't like share the details.
That's true.
Because he calls audibles in situations. And so I don't think he wants people to like have a certain plan to do something, to go somewhere at a certain time, because he's got other options. He's got like options in his head where maybe he calls an audible and we're going here instead of that. Or like, it's more of like we'll just figure it out. But he'll say that we'll just figure it out. But in his head, he's got plan A, plan B, and plan C ready to go. And it's just like, it seems like it happens organically and naturally, but it's just a matter of putting it together, the right places, people, time type of thing. So I think he has that going on in the back of his head for most trips.
So he's like Peyton Manning and we're the wide receivers, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. We just gotta get open, you know, and he'll do the rest of it.
Be available. Yeah.
Well, that was an interesting little topic open there.
Yeah, man.
Welcome one, welcome all to the Brunch Breakdown, whether this is your first, second, or 145 plus episodes that we're into this thing now. We're almost, maybe not quite that high, but welcome back to the Brunch Breakdown. You can find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere you listen to podcasts, literally anywhere podcasts are available. You can find the Brunch Breakdown. New episodes each and every Wednesday. Make sure you're just hitting follow or subscribe anywhere that you choose to listen, so that episode comes to you first thing in the morning. We've also got full video episodes on our YouTube and Facebook page that premiere at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Wednesdays. You can watch those anytime on demand after that. We're everywhere on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Triller, TikTok, at Brunch Breakdown. We're there. We got it all. And of course, we give you what we are listening to each and every week. We put it together. Nice little playlist. We call it The Sounds of Brunch. That's available exclusively on Spotify. Go to Spotify. Every Friday that gets updated. Search for the Sounds of Brunch and get to listen to what we are listening to each and every week. But before we dive in, we have to at least tell you what's on the menu for today. Chris, give us a little rundown. What are we talking about here this week?
Well, very important things. As always, on the Brunch Breakdown, in addition to the music we're listening to, the beer that we've been drinking, we're going to, honestly, this What About Bread, I think, is going to be something that people have opinions about. But we're going to talk about, like, if you could win a lifetime of unlimited bread from any one restaurant, where would it be from? We're also going to talk about if you could have your office in any building in the world, where would it be? Because there's some dentist somewhere that has a very interesting location. I don't know. Am I missing anything? I think that's the menu today.
That's it. Yeah, we're going to get things off our chest here momentarily. We're going to talk beer. Like you said, we're going to talk music to close the show. But let's start right there. Chris, get something off your chest this week.
Dude, this is the strangest one for me, and it's going to be quick. I spent a lot of time over the last couple of days thinking about, like, what do I want to get off my chest this week? And I realized that, like, man, I'm going to give credit to Didi again. And I feel so uncomfortable with how much credit we've given him in the first 5 to 10 minutes of this episode. But I found myself trying to, like, find something that I was mad about. And I heard Didi's voice in my head where he's always, this has been his tagline for like 10 years. Like, people are so fake mad, like, stop being fake mad about this, that, or the other thing. And I just realized, like, I want to get it off my chest that I had a good week, man. And I'm feeling happy and everything's good. And, like, no need to be mad online about something. I could conjure up some type of anger about something stupid, but then, like, that's what all the parents do on Facebook and shit. So, like, let's not do that. Let's just be happy. And I had a good week. I'm happy about it. And we're going to roll into this upcoming week and have another good one here.
Wow. Going anti getting something off your chest there. That's the 180. But you know what? I hear you on that, because it is an interesting segment that we came up with years ago to get something off our chest each and every week. These episodes used to be bi-weekly too, where you had 2 weeks time to kind of get something, you know, that you're going to run into to get something off your chest. And I think we're all mostly optimistic, happy people, the three of us. So it can be a challenge every 7 days to go, man, what sucked this week, or what angered me this week? And online is usually where the chest is, to find something. But that's a good thing to not run into any of those situations the past week.
Yeah, man. It's just nothing has angered me, and I think it's okay to say that.
That is, we accept that as an answer. We definitely do.
But Dan, I know you have some in the chamber, so I'm ready for it. I'm ready. For it.
I do. I've got a couple locked and loaded from the past weeks before last, where missed a couple episodes. We were off for a week, so this one, in fact, is exactly that from just a few weeks ago. I went to a combo bachelorette party for my wife's friend, who's getting married next month, and it was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. If you don't know much about Gatlinburg, Tennessee, it's kind of kitschy with some of their attractions. They're kind of known for hiking. It's in the mountains of Tennessee, but lots of attractions. Dollywood is there. You get a lot of places that have like go-karts. There's a lot of mini golf down there. So they have a couple like Ripley's, believe it or not, museums and aquariums and some like chain restaurants. Very unique little town in Tennessee. And so we were there for the first time. And one of the activities that we did was we went out for, I guess it was lunch one day, and we went to a little place called Dick's Last Resort. If you're not familiar with Dick's Last Resort, it's basically a restaurant where the wait staff is allowed to, and on purpose, makes fun of you.
Oh,
okay.
I heard about places like that.
Yes. So they purposely are a little rude, a little extra, and intentionally make fun of you. So we had never been to one before. We weren't really sure what exactly we were getting into. We had heard a couple of things. But yeah, like the wait staff, they're like purposely like assholes, like rude to you. Okay. I think a lot of people afterwards were like, wow, I would have loved to have worked there when I was in college, just to like on purpose be rude. And everybody gets like a paper hat, which they write something on to make fun of you about. I'm sure there's like a Rolodex of like 1,000 of these things, but every once in a while they're getting custom. But you know, how well you're going to get to know a person when you're trying to take orders and stuff like that. But yeah, the waiter comes over, takes orders, like throws the menus on the table, throws the straws on the table after leaving drinks. When they bring the food, they just start like handing it to people, not like figuring out who's ordered what. They're just like, take it, pass it and figure it out yourselves. So it's a little strange.
Jeez.
Just to say that. But like, obviously, if you go there, you know what you're getting into. Chris, it stunned me how many families with children were at this restaurant. Like 80% of the dining room was I'm serious, 80% families with children, ranging from 6 months old to like maybe 14. Okay. Like things are being written on our hats that kids are old enough to read and pick up the sexual innuendos. Yikes. Okay. The wait staff is calling everybody asshole, like across the room where it can very clearly be heard. Like, I'll be with you assholes in 1 second. Like literally all the time. Like, and people with kids were like literally waiting to get a table. And we're in this town where there's these restaurants everywhere and these chain restaurants that a lot of people have heard of and familiar with. And that's why they're in a place like that. And I don't understand it. And it's not like the food is so good or so unique that it's worth like putting up with it or exposing your children to something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know what you're getting when you walk in. It's very clear on the outside. You know, there's a concept going on here.
Yeah, I imagine many people stumble into that place. They're like, wow, these people are really mean. Why are they so mean? Like, I feel like you go in that place and you know what you're getting. It's like a theme restaurant.
It's a theme restaurant. Exactly. And it's a funny concept if you're there to like embrace the funny part of it. For us, it was funny when we had a great waiter. We've heard some other people in our party were like, this was a great one because I've been to a Dick's Last Resort somewhere else and like they're like almost obnoxious where it's not funny. It's just like overly rude.
Yeah.
That there is a fine line. So you got to be, it's right. You got to be with the right wait staff. They get right situation and you have to be open and willing and going into it that way rather than putting up your guard. But it blew my mind how many kids were there and families bringing their kids into there. Just think the next time before you walk into Dick's Last Resort with your kids, that's it's not the place for them. It just isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it would never cross my mind to take my children to a place like that.
Stunned.
Because I would just think like,
stunned.
I don't want to expose them to that. I also would just be super uncomfortable the entire dinner with my kids. Like, and like, do you want to take your kids to a place where the people are going to yell at them and like be
right
rude?
And like they ask at the table before anybody, they always ask, is anybody here under 18? And so then I think they know the level that they have to be.
Gotcha.
And especially with like the hats, right? The hats are a little bit, but like this one little girl, she had to be, I don't know, 8 or 9. And her hat said #1 Karen in training. And like, it was funny as shit, but like, probably not to those parents. Because like, did she look like that? You damn right she did. Just like stereotypical look like that's the direction she's heading. But like, this isn't a smoking and non-smoking section. We're all in the same vicinity. She can read, and she can read our hats, and she can hear the waiter still calling everybody asshole at the tables around us. It's not like there's a play place where like, oh, families are over here. Not like that at all.
Yeah, it's not like a smoking section or something like that where you keep people away from,
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that also makes me wonder about like, people always say that your environment is a big indicator or dictator of like how you end up being as a person.
Yeah.
So like, imagine working, like being a waiter in that restaurant. Like, do you think those people go home and like live super happy, optimistic lives? Or do you think they like carry that stuff? It would be hard to like, I don't know. I feel like you just assume the personality and then you just become a really pessimistic, angry, mean person.
Yeah. And like, I feel like they have to, like, the prices were kind of high, but we're also in like a bit of a tourist city, right? But then I thought to myself, their prices have to be high here because they probably have to pay these people more than usual wait staff, because I can't imagine all of their tips are great, because I'm sure not everybody is open and welcoming to this asshole mentality of things.
Or like,
it's weird to tip based off of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna play around with the whole thing. It's like, well, you're gonna be an asshole to me. Here's your tip. It's nothing, like.
Yeah,
I bet you there's a lot of people that do that just to be. I don't know.
Strange.
Interesting.
So I had to get that. Yeah, I had to share that. Get that off my chest. Like, maybe just don't take your kids there.
Yeah, maybe don't. Maybe don't.
Well, now that we've done that, let's get into Brews Day here, Chris. What are you sipping on this week?
Let's do it, man. Brews Day for me, for the most part, over the last like 2 months, has been sponsored by my brothers-in-law. So
yes,
Dan in Wisconsin was coming on strong there for a while, okay. But Mike down in Charlotte is he's making a second half comeback, okay. And Mike has delivered me some very delicious beers. I have a new one from Charlotte. It's called Paradise City IPA from Bird Song Brewing. Okay. And this is one of the more like unique IPAs I've ever drank. I totally, upon taking the first sip, had never had this before, drank it earlier today. It was like on the first sip, I said to myself, this is one of the more unique IPAs I've ever had. Now it says, and this is where I kind of need your guidance, Dan. So it says it's malty. And to me, like, I never think of IPAs as having malt in them. That's not common.
No, that is not common. That's definitely not common.
So it's an IPA that's like, it's very malty. And it took me till like halfway through the beer to get used to it. But then once I got used to it, I was kind of cool with it. But it honestly, it's an IPA that tastes more like a German style lager almost, or something like that. Like it's just unique. That's the only way I can put it. It's good. It's unique. If you're into like the more citrusy IPAs and stuff like that, this is probably not your jam. But if you want to try something new, something different, it does have some of the bitterness on the back end, but there's a lot of malt in there, that's the first time I've ever had an IPA that tasted like that.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, and that's exactly it. There's a light malt bill and a pleasant bitterness, just like you said there, for a clean finish. Very interesting. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of malty beers. My wife is not. So like that's why fall beers are wonderful for me. But in an IPA, especially like a juicier IPA, that is some wild stuff.
Yeah.
That is some wild stuff. I don't know if I've ever really experienced anything quite like that before. And
I'll save one
based on your
for you.
first sip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll save one
That's
for you.
wild.
It's one of the more unique beers I've ever tried.
I love it. Okay. Wow. All right. Shouts to that. Birdsong
Birdsong
in
Brewing.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I've had Birdsong. Well, I've got one that's available around the country. Evil Twin Brewing out of Brooklyn, New York. This is a pretty popular one, I believe, and it was just calling my name today. The Imperial Biscotti break. So we've got, of course, an Imperial Stout, coffee, which is dangerous this time of the night. Really smart on my part. Coffee with almond and vanilla added. There is it's sweet. You get a lot of coffee, and it's not overly almond or overly vanilla. Almond is a very interesting flavor when it's like an additive in anything, because it's so distinct and it's pretty potent. Like you got to be careful with almond. Sometimes if you get like too much almond, almost like in a dessert cookie almost too, it can like completely overpower everything. So it's delicate enough for this. It is sweet. It's like an Italian dessert in a glass or can in this instance. But Evil Twin, good stuff as always. The Imperial Biscotti break. And that's what I needed today. It was a Biscotti break.
Biscotti break. Yeah. Why
not?
Nice. Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, indeed.
Cheers to Brews Day. Dan, you haven't had a beer with marshmallow in it in a long time. And I'm wondering, like, are you breaking up with marshmallow?
That's true. That's true. You know what? You make a fair point. No, you know what? I actually just got my hands on that very same trip to Tennessee. I got my hands on a wonderful beer that has marshmallow in it.
All right.
That will be on the Brunch Breakdown in the very, very near future. That's a wonderful beer. So
that's good to
hear.
You're
right. I haven't really, not a lot of marshmallow in the cabinet right now. I'm going to have to stock back up on that a little bit.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Well, which direction do you want to go here, Dan? Do you want to talk about where you want your office to be, or do you want to dive into bread?
Let's talk about where we want our office to be.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. Let's start there.
Okay. So I'm going to share a couple visuals here. So I'm going to start with the Chrysler Building. So there is apparently a dentist that has his office, or his dental office at the top of the spire of the Chrysler Building. And just so we're all clear, are we looking at the Chrysler Building here?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. That's the Chrysler Building. Okay. Just wanted to be clear. If you're just listening, you're not watching. It's one of the taller buildings in New York. It's one of the more iconic ones. It's part of the skyline. It's got a little pointy thing at the top, and you can Google it and find out. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this ridiculous dentist. Like, it seems legit because the direction of the window is just like those little windows that you see on the outside.
Yeah. Like the triangle peaks in a weird shape.
Yeah.
That's just his window in the dentist's office. This guy has also looked like he's been a dentist for 138 years.
He looks like a cross between like the dude from Back to the Future and Hans from Mighty Ducks.
That is wonderful. That's one. Again, you got to get to the video episodes, ladies and gentlemen. That you need that reference right there. But yeah, that's real. That's a real photo. That's really the photo in his office.
Yeah. Which brought to mind the question, and we don't have to stare. I'm going to take this. We don't have to stare at this guy the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to end up staring at it and like forget what we're talking about. Just his face.
So
threw me off.
So I want to know, Dan, if you could put your office in any one building I guess on planet Earth, where would you put it and why?
Yeah, there were so many thoughts that went through my head with this. But one of the first, I thought about like the environment, right? Like the city you're in, the environment, the view was a big one for me. Like if you're going to be in a unique building, that's cool, but is it just the internal view or is it the external view as well? And I kept going back and I kept going external view. And so one of the buildings that came to mind for me was the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. Not only am I uber fascinated with space, like that could be enough right there. And it's an iconic location. Adele had her concert there that was on CBS a couple of years ago. It's been in a bunch of movies and TV shows. I've been out there. Chris, I don't know if you've had a chance to visit any trips out to LA.
No, I'm looking at the photo of it now, though. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And like the view over Los Angeles, because of its location up there in the mountain, and everything that you can see from there is just absolutely incredible. And so like for me, that's how it all kind of came together, is not only a building like focused on, with the views in space. There it is right there. I mean, look at that view over LA.
That's insane.
You can't get that anywhere else. It's insane. And yeah, it's open to the public to go visit, but an observatory over Los Angeles, like tougher to get better than that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. What about you? Where would you like to be besides Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
Oh, that's a great. I didn't even consider that.
Man,
one,
I didn't.
Dan.
I didn't either. Damn it! Pretend I didn't say that. Edit that out. I'll go back.
You want the internal view on that one.
Internal view for sure.
I thought a lot about this. Okay, because we've had actually. If I go back to when I sent this to you guys in March. Like, so we've been thinking about this one for a while, and I like went through all of the scenarios, right? Chrysler Building, obviously the skyline of New York is beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a crazy, crazy view. And I thought about a lot of other like famous skyscrapers across the world, stuff like that, like even stadiums and stuff. Yeah. But I just kept coming back to like the work environment. Okay. And some of those iconic buildings, Empire State Building, Sears Tower, like all these places, I don't, like this dentist, I don't want to have to do that elevator ride. Okay.
Right. Yes.
I don't want to have to deal with that. And you're going to a huge metropolitan area. Like the whole process of getting to that office sounds atrocious. So what I actually landed on, and I didn't land on like a specific one, but just the concept of, I think I want my office at the top of a lighthouse.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's a fascinating choice.
You either have like, it could be one on the Great Lakes where you got a lake view. It could be one on the coastline where you have an ocean view, but like, no hoops you got to jump through, no crazy traffic. It is just your office. You have a very peaceful view to help you work the way that you want to work. And then a 360
view.
I'm saying,
right?
Man, yeah.
A 360 view. How many buildings can you say that about?
Right. Yeah, it's true. And like after work, you're almost always going to be in a location where you could do some fun stuff after work. So it's like part for me, the actual office and the view and all that stuff, but then it's also part like the dynamics involved in working in that office. And so I went with lighthouse, and I don't know about lighthouses to tell you which one, but I'll think more about it.
A big, nice big lighthouse, but not like one that's necessarily out on like a bunch of jagged rocks that to get to would be difficult. No. You don't want
no. To be honest with you,
drive right up, private parking.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a New England lighthouse, like Cape Cod type of situation. You know, that's kind of what I was feeling.
I like that. I like that pick. I didn't think lighthouse, man. Because I was thinking of iconic buildings and structures, and I was the same with you because I thought, the Space Needle in Seattle and the CN Tower in Toronto, if that's even what it's still called. Honestly, these buildings changed names so many times. Like, incredible views. I don't want to be up that high every day, and I don't want to take that elevator every day. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you. Would it be cool? Yeah, cool as shit, but no, too high for me every day. Too high for me every day. It's interesting. You said stadiums, and stadiums came to mind for me too as like a kind of my round of backup options. But I try to get realistic because the Rogers Center in Toronto, home of the Toronto Blue Jays, not only is it a baseball stadium, but there's a hotel in the stadium that overlooks the ballpark. And there are actual offices there. There's like a handful of companies, like Ticketmaster has an office there. Obviously, the Blue Jays have their offices there, but that also overlook the ballpark with a retractable roof. So sometimes it's outside, sometimes it's not. And like, that's pretty cool. If you were able to work in a facility like that, that's actually set up to be something like that. Obviously, there's more iconic ballparks throughout the country. I mean, Wrigley Field, whatever, you can go on and on. But
yeah, you don't
they're
want
actually
to work.
there.
You don't want to work at Wrigley, though. You don't want to.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
It's like 150 years old.
Yeah,
the amenities right. Are trash.
You can't even walk all the way around the damn ballpark. Did you know that? You can't even walk around. You have to have a ticket to sit in the outfield, which is ridiculous. But yeah, Rogers Center was one that I was like, okay, that could be interesting. Toronto's a fun city too.
Yeah. Stadiums are cool. I feel like the stadiums are, I guess it depends on like the nature of the stadium and the team that the stadium is for. Cause like, I think my mind went to like some football stadiums. I'm like, okay, well that actually is cool. Like 8 Sundays a year. And I don't want to work on Sunday anyway. So
exactly.
What am I doing here?
Right.
But the one in Toronto's got a lot of stuff going on.
It does. Concerts, all that stuff. Another place that came to mind for me in like talking about heights, like obviously the Eiffel Tower would be pretty cool, right? But I don't want to be working in the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Put me in the Eiffel Tower along the Las Vegas Strip, baby. That's where I want to be. Okay, that's the one. The views over the Strip. It's not as high up as the actual Eiffel Tower. There's a nice bar up there that we've been to a handful of times, and just that view over the Strip in its own unique, very unique building there. So give me the Eiffel Tower in Paris, Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now you got me thinking. Like the Palms would be dope. Top of the Palms.
Yes.
We've been up there. Also, that place that we went to brunch where like Dee Dee didn't make it through brunch, but it was a beautiful brunch. I don't know what building that was. But like I would love an office up there.
Yeah.
Office and bottomless mimosas. Let's do it.
Yes.
A lot of buildings in Vegas. I would.
A lot of and like again, back to the view thing. Like the Luxor is such a cool building. It's a pyramid, but you're at the end of the Strip. I don't know if the view's that great, right. Unless you're like at the top. But there's a lot of unique and interesting buildings in Vegas where, the Palms. Yeah. There's some really good choices. Really good choices there. What else? You got anything else that was any other building that you thought of that might be? I like Lighthouse though.
Yeah, once I landed on Lighthouse, it just pretty much canceled everything else out.
Yeah. One last one that I'll say, and I thought about it, not even saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Cinderella Castle at Disney World. If there were, if I could get an office, like a penthouse office at the castle, I think that would be cool. I think the view from up there would be pretty awesome down whatever the main street is called. Disney fans, forgive me, whatever that is called. That would be cool. And like, you're literally in the place that they call the happiest place on earth, can't really go in there going in a bad mood, right? And everything you look out to, people are having a good time. So I think your spirits would be lifted. You've got the Florida sunshine and a pretty cool office space there. So Cinderella Castle, Disney World.
I did not see that one coming.
I didn't think you would.
I like it though. I like it. Well, let's make a natural transition here then, Dan, and let's talk about bread.
Let's do it.
All right. So this is a graphic I'm actually going to leave up on the screen while we talk about it. You sent this over, and I was totally not prepared. Had we talked about this previously?
No.
Okay.
No, we have not.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about it now. And since you sent it to me, Dan, why don't you just explain what we're looking at here?
Yes. So the caption here is you win unlimited bread for a lifetime, which, by the way, it sounds like unlimited lifetime, same thing. But anyways, I guess your life isn't unlimited. But you win unlimited bread for a lifetime. Where do you want it to be from? And we're looking at 4 major restaurant chains here, okay, in this graphic. And they are Texas Roadhouse with their warm rolls with honey cinnamon butter, Red Lobster and their Cheddar Bay biscuits, the very famous Olive Garden breadsticks, and of course, Outback Steakhouse, their honey wheat bread and honey butter, that brown loaf with that steak knife in there and that butter. So this isn't even a pick 2. This is a pick 1. We've only got 4 choices here, and these are the best of the best, right? I mean, these are all goats, in my opinion. But Chris, I'm curious, did one scream out to you a no-doubter, no-brainer, or was this as difficult for you as it was for me?
I had a no-brainer. I did, but
did you?
I did, but that doesn't mean that I disrespect the other options in this graphic. I will say though, Dan, and we talked about this before, I have never been to Red Lobster. So my vote being cast here is a little bit skewed, admittedly, because I've never had the you said they're the Cheddar Bay biscuits. Is that what they're called?
Cheddar Bay biscuits. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard wonderful things, and yeah, I have not tried them, but honestly, man, the Olive Garden breadsticks, I just can't not pick them. They're so damn good. I don't know what the stuff is that they put on. It's like salt and some other seasonings that get put on top, and it's like perfect every time. Like they don't ever screw them up. And I don't understand how that's possible. They're so damn good all the time. And yeah, well, yeah, they're just really good all the time. No disrespect to Outback. That butter specifically is wonderful. I've only had the Texas Roadhouse ones, I think once, but delightful as well. But like the heart knows what it wants, Dan. And so does the mouth. And my heart and my mouth want those Olive Garden breadsticks forever.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, the Cheddar Bay biscuits, I will say, are phenomenal. They really are. Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, those rolls with that lightly butter glaze right on the top, and honey cinnamon butter is just one of a kind. When you see that Outback loaf slide into the table there, that knife, that steak knife stuck right in it, and it's a little DIY, and I kind of like that. You cut off your own slice, however far you want to go. It's not pre-sliced with the rip, you know what I mean? And then that butter is
fire.
Not of this planet.
Yeah,
it's just unbelievable how well those go together. But I am with you, my friend.
Let's go.
Olive Garden breadsticks. I don't ever want to imagine a life without them. And so if I'm getting one unlimited for the rest of my life, it has to be those. Even though the Texas Roadhouse rolls and the Outback Steakhouse bread, far more versatile with other meals. I will tip my hat to that. but I literally don't care because if you got the Olive Garden breadsticks as a choice, I'm Mr. Olive Garden. And I honestly can't even tell you the last time I've been there, but every time we pass it, my wife knows and I acknowledge it and she hates it. And she says that's where we go when we have a family. So clearly I'm trying to rush that.
Yeah. Okay, man. The time is now. Let's make it happen.
All right. Well, we're turning this bus around then. I love Olive Garden. I love the breadsticks. You're right. They're perfectly warm, soft. The butter, the garlic, the salt is just, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
How good they are.
I would eat that as an entree.
Yes. Yes. Unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. Keep the soup in the salad. I don't need
just
it.
Give me the
Just
breadsticks. Yeah. You had me worried, man. I thought the way you kept saying loaf about Outback, I was like, he's going loaf. He's going Outback, but I'm proud of you, Dan. You made the right choice here. I got to get some Cheddar Bay biscuits though. I gotta.
You do. Because let's put an extra twist on this if we can. Let's rank these. This wasn't the mission. This wasn't the idea, right? But let's do it. Let's freaking rank them. We're both going Olive Garden breadsticks 1. Man, oh man. I put myself into a hole here where I'm not ready. I'm not ready to rank these. Olive Garden breadsticks 1. Outback loaf 2. Outback brown bread, honey butter 2. Cheddar Bay biscuits 3. Texas Roadhouse rolls 4. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going Outback at number 2 after Olive Garden just because of the butter's just insane.
It is. It's a game changer.
It's so good. And then I guess I have to go Texas Roadhouse because I haven't had the Red Lobster ones. But
okay.
Yeah, I gotta get my hands on some of those, man.
You do. And like they sell the mix in the grocery store now. I mean, it's not the same, but it'll give you a good enough idea. But just get a little pack to go or something. They're wonderful. They're delightful. They really are. So exhausted after that task. Hungry for some bread.
Yeah, dude, I can taste the Olive Garden.
I know. It's so wonderful.
I have a family. What am I doing? I got to go there.
You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. Those are family establishments. That's why we can't go to Fridays either. Like Fridays, they got late night apps. She's like, no. She's like, because that's what we'll spend every year as a family. I'm like, well,
that's
okay
fair.
then.
That's fair. Your time will come.
Right. Well, Chris, let's get into some music here, huh?
Let's get into music,
it's
man.
About that time. Let's get into music. What have you been listening to this week? Anything good?
So the first one is just like missed it last week, man. But there's a new song out. I don't actually know if it's a new song. Biba Doobie put out a new track. Let's put it that way. And I have a moral obligation to put Biba Doobie on the playlist when anything with her name attached to it comes out. It's Glue Song, which I think is actually, she already put that out. This one is like it's featuring Claro. I don't know who the hell that is, but
you better learn.
I'm morally obligated to put the Biebs back on the playlist. So that's my first song. Yeah.
Love me some Biba Doobie. Yeah, you're right. It's just a different version of the song. Excellent. Claro is also great. She's great. And I'm very excited for that Biba Doobie concert in Pittsburgh in August. Very much looking forward to that. First one up for me is a little group by the name of Muna, and the track is One That Got Away. They released the track, performing it live at Coachella last week, and now it's available digitally. It's just electro pop at its finest. They are supporting Boys Genius on their tour this summer. I think Muna is actually signed to Phoebe Bridgers' record label. But it's a fantastic song, and obviously One That Got Away, you can kind of understand the song based by the title. But I love this quote about the song. It says, "This song is just rubbing your hot ass in the face of someone who messed up their chance to being with you. by the lead singer.
Let's go.
It's a phenomenal track. There's a reason enough for you to listen to it right there. The one that got away.
Damn. Okay. Okay. All right, my second one is from a band called Honey Creek. And I discovered this band a couple years ago when, what was the album name? They put out an album in 2021, A Whole Year in Transit. Okay, these guys they're actually from Wisconsin, which is hilarious because I didn't find them because I have ties to Wisconsin and I know that I am Wisconsin's son, but they're a pop punk band from Milwaukee. We're independent now. They're signed to a small label, but like not enough people are listening to this band, Honey Creek. They put out a song last week called Burnt Bitter. And that's one I'm going to put on the playlist. Like they write unbelievably catchy music. They're going to remind you of a lot of the bands I think that we listened to growing up, but they're doing it right now with a little bit of a twist. And like I'm looking at their Spotify right now, they have less than 5,000 monthly listeners, which is just ridiculous to me. So people, we got to get on this train with Honey Creek. Very, very good band, and I'm excited for people to listen to this one.
There probably isn't a more Wisconsin name than Honey Creek. So when you said that, I completely believed you.
I didn't need to tell you where they were from, did I?
No, not at all. Not at all. Next one up for me is not a song I saw coming. Rita Ora and Fatboy Slim coming out with Praising You. You'll remember the song from 1999, Praise You, very famous Fatboy Slim song. And so this is basically an EDM remix, Rita Ora's EDM remix of that iconic song by Fatboy Slim. And it works. It's like new and nostalgia, like all in one. And I dig it because that song's great. And this is just a little faster paced kind of electro version of it, and excited to hear more from Rita Ora. She's got a new album coming out this summer. Been a little while since we've had a full album from her. So check it out. Instead of Praising You, Rita Ora and Fatboy Slim.
Okay. Active voice. I like it.
Yeah.
Electro. Okay, so that's going to kind of fit into my last one here, Dan.
Okay.
WSTR band, I'm a big fan of pop punk band. They put out actually 3 Days Sober was a single they put out a few weeks ago, and I put that on the playlist. They put another one out called Poor Boy, and it's kind of like, so 3 Days Sober was very much like in their wheelhouse, familiar with the sound, familiar with the cadence, very much their style. This one is kind of more with a flavor of like electro poppy punk type of a sound. And I like it. I just was not expecting it at all when I listened to the song. So, you know how it goes nowadays, right? And I bitch about this all the time, but like they're putting little hints out there about what their album's going to sound like. And so we had one that was very predictable. Now we have one that was very unpredictable. So it actually has me excited for the full length album, but yeah, throw this one on the playlist this week. It's a little bit different, and I like it.
Interesting. Okay. Excited to hear that. Last one up for me is two very, very familiar faces. One in particular, to this playlist and to any music I've been listening to over the last 3 years. They're back together again. Gus Dapperton and my girl, Benny, coming together. You may remember their first time pairing up for Super Lonely, the major hit from a couple of years ago. And it really started both of their careers into this huge ascension, and I've been big fans ever since. And so they coming together again for a brand new song called Don't Let Me Down. It's kind of like dreamy and dancey, that type of pop music, and it's actually off of Gus Dapperton's new album coming out later this summer. And this one is just the one I'm going to be hearing in my head, bobbing my head at the same time for a very, very, very long time. Very excited. And if you haven't listened to Green Honda from Benny yet, I put it on the playlist weeks and weeks ago. It's still a fantastic track. and I'm obsessed with it. Anything she does, really, I am. But Gus Dapperton, Benny, don't let me down. And they don't let you down with this song.
Well, that's important, because if they named it that and then they did, it's false advertising. That's illegal. So
that is, they'd be in brunch court, guilty as charged.
We'd have
no
to
doubt
do it.
about it.
We
would have to take them down, but no worries this time.
I like it.
Well, Chris, that about does it for us this week on the Brunch Breakdown. We'll say what we always do at the end. Any final thoughts from you this week?
No, man. I think I'm going to wake up. I'm going to work tomorrow. I'm not going to be in a lighthouse, and it's going to piss me off. And then I'll have something angry to talk about next week.
Oh, that could do it. That could trigger you. Yeah. Can you imagine Olive Garden breadsticks in your lighthouse office?
Oh, what a world. Shut your mouth, Dan. That is
maybe we should assign those. Maybe we should assign those breads to because it feels like Lighthouse is Cheddar Bay Biscuit. It feels that way. So, and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones we talked about here quickly as we wrap up. Cinderella Castle. I mean, is that Olive Garden breadsticks, or is that the Texas Roadhouse rolls because of the honey cinnamon? But I do this far too often. I create chaos at the end of these episodes, and it's completely unintentional. And my apologies. But please, listeners, fans, let us know at Brunch Breakdown, where are you putting your office, and what's your unlimited bread of choice? We need to know. Results next week on the Brunch Breakdown. And with that, we're out.